guys, it's Lisa Mackey and welcome to the channel that helps you succeed through your own uniqueness, whether in your personal life, your business, or career. So hit the subscribe button and the bell so you will be notified of every video I post on Wednesdays. Now, if you lost your job as a result of the COVID-19 crisis, or if you are rethinking your career, then this video is perfect for you. But even if you don't fit in that category, I'm sure that you know someone who's going to benefit from this video. So hit the like button and share this with your family and friends. Now, if you are looking for the right career for you, then this video is not for that. But that video will surely help you. Now, I have the link of that video on the video description, which you can check after watching this segment. What I'm going to teach you in this video is how you can get hired quickly. And in my years of career coaching experience, I have observed a pattern for those or from those who got hired quickly for the job that they applied for. Now, the first factor to getting hired quickly is establishing a perfect match. Now, it's easy to do that when you are simply shifting from one company to the next. The same position, the same job, that's easy. But what if you know that you are so qualified for that job and you really want that job, but you don't have the work history to show for? What if you are applying for a management position and the management position does not show on any of your job history, but you have done certain roles in your jobs that allowed you or required you to supervise or manage people? Now, I have good news for you because you can establish a perfect match with that kind of a situation. The key is in your resume and cover letter because those are the first documents that the hiring manager or whoever is reviewing your application is going to see. Now, for instance, you are applying for a job with a management position, and the most current job you have is customer service representative. Now, you don't really have to put the exact job title. You can just put customer service instead of customer service representative and focus on the roles that you played pertaining to management, pertaining to supervising someone or managing someone. Perhaps you have assisted or helped your co-workers in dealing with customer issues, or maybe you led a project, or maybe you suggested something to your superior that actually was implemented and created a great change in your job and in your company. So these are things that you need to focus on. What management roles or supervisory roles have you fulfilled in those different jobs? Now, another situation that I have encountered with clients is they have a job history to show for, but it is like 25 years ago. So what do you do with that? Again, I have good news for you because it can be possible to still establish a perfect match. Now, for instance, you are applying for a job focused on training and development, and you have definitely done that like 25 years ago. You've had several jobs, but it's like so way behind you. So what you do is you now focus on the skills more than the job history in itself. Now, this is something you can't do for a federal job, specifically USA jobs, because they do want a chronological history of your job or of your profession. And so when you do a functional resume, focus on the skills that the job is requiring for it. So again, my example was training and development. And then you include the jobs that you've done with several companies without mentioning when it was. So I'll give you a few examples. Under training and development, designed a training program for 500 managers of a telecommunications company that resulted in 50% growth in sales. Now, that is something that shows that you have done training and development, and then showing the result will be something that a hiring person will be interested in. So it may not show on your work history, but it definitely is highlighted at the top, which I'm going to expound more on in a little while. So talking about perfect match, it's not just about skills and experiences, but also about culture and values. And that's why it's very important for you to do your research about the company that you're applying for. So maybe you love the job, but what about the culture? What about the values? Check their vision, mission statement, go to their website, and sometimes there are things hidden in a job post. Sometimes it's not really a requirement, but it is there describing what the company represents. So, for instance, the company you're applying for is really huge on diversity, and you've had opportunities in your jobs that allowed you to work with a diverse group of people. Now, it's really good to highlight that in establishing a perfect match. Now, once you establish a perfect match, and once you find the right fit, then you will be very, very passionate about applying for that job. Which brings me to the next factor in getting hired quickly, which is passion. Now, passion comes from the heart out. So it's more than just having confidence. When you know that that job is the perfect fit for you, and it's the best environment for you, and it's the best culture for you, then you will be passionate about it, and that passion will spill over to your resume, your cover letter, and the interview. And that passion can be very, very contagious. Now, I'm going to read to you two examples of a corporate culture and the perfect person for the job, or the kind of person that will best fit in that kind of a culture and environment. Because as I've said, if you are in that perfect place, then you will be very passionate about it because you are operating in your best element with a perfect environment. So let me read that. Squarespace. Okay, Squarespace has a culture that is flat, open, and creative. This means that there are very few levels of management in between staff and executives. This type of culture is perfect for those who are self-starters and can work independently. So you need to find that perfect environment for you. So as I've said, this kind of culture works well for self-starters and those who can work independently. And then another example is REI. The mission of REI is to equip both customers and employees for the outdoors, not just to have fun, but also in promoting stewardship of the environment. So this type of culture is perfect, not only for sports enthusiasts, but those who are environment friendly. And guess what? When you are passionate about something, you stand out. And that is another factor for getting hired quickly. Now, how do you stand out? I always tell my clients your first few words on your resume and cover letter will either make or break you. So you want the hiring person, because your resume and cover letter are the first documents they will see. And so this is how they will gauge you and who you are. And so they will look at the resume and cover letter, and you want them to continue reading your document. So I'm going to share something with you, and you decide for yourself which one you will continue reading. So this is the profile summary section of a resume, and the first sentence or the first statement. Experienced teacher, skilled at working independently and cooperatively. Or solution-driven educator with over 10 years of teaching experience. Now, isn't it obvious that you will continue reading the second one more than the first one? Because it just stands out more than the first one. Now, when it comes to your job description, okay, this is where a lot of people make mistakes. When it comes to your job description, do not write down a list of your tasks, because anybody can do those tasks. Anybody who's paid to do the job can do it. You need to focus on what you did differently, and you need to focus on the performance and the results. So again, I'm going to read to you a job description, the before and after. So this is a job description for a nursing job. So this was the before. Completed patient health histories and admission process to ensure high standards of care. Established and maintained rapport with patients and loved ones to reduce anxiety and facilitate good communication. Developed and updated care plans to achieve patient goals. Now I'm going to read to you the after. Ensure the quick recovery of patients by completing health histories accurately and creating high standard plan of care. Established and maintained good rapport with patients and loved ones, thereby reducing levels of anxiety and facilitating effective communication. Developed and updated care plans efficiently, resulting in achieved goals for patients. Now you see the difference? The difference between a more results-oriented resume and performance-based, more than just a list of tasks. So this is one of the ways you can make your resume stand out. Now what about the cover letter? I'm going to share with you a sample cover letter, the first statement or the first paragraph. You know, sometimes for other jobs, it is a requirement to start your cover letter the conventional way. Like, I'm very interested to apply for the so-and-so position with your company. So there are certain jobs that, you know, would normally require that. But for other jobs, you can be creative with your very first statement after the dear hiring team or dear Mr. So-and-so. So I'm going to give you an example. Nothing has been more fulfilling for me than impacting the lives of others to make a difference in this world. This is where my passion comes from and why I chose the nursing profession. Now, isn't that something that will make you want to continue reading? I always refer to the cover letter as the soul, and you can only put so much on a resume. You can't really play around with words. You can't really talk about your passion in your resume. You cannot really explain certain, what do you call this, pauses in your work history, which you can do on a cover letter. So again, to make your cover letter and your resume stand out, pay attention to those first few words and then keep it consistent throughout the entire content of your resume and cover letter. Now, another way to stand out when it comes to a resume is to also pay attention to the design. So it's not just the content, but the design, which includes the layout. So with my clients, what I do is I take three things into consideration when designing the resume. I take into consideration the field, the company in itself, and the uniqueness of my clients, which is really what my brand is about. And so there are certain jobs that are pretty rigid, like accounting or education. And for these types of jobs, I use a more conventional design, or very, very simple. But then there are other jobs that you can, play around with design and you can be more creative in, such as graphics design, anything connected to arts and sales. So you can see from the samples here that they are pretty much different and they stand out. And I also use a color scheme that either represents the company that they want to be associated with or want to apply for. And that, of course, is if the cover letter and the resume is specifically just for one job. I always recommend a different cover letter for each job, but you can use one resume for related jobs. And so when I use colors, I take into consideration, as I've said, the company color or my client's preference, and I incorporate it a bit. I don't really just make it stand out, but it just kind of stamps the uniqueness and what makes it stand out. So you can see from these samples what I'm talking about. So the last factor that will help you get hired quickly is to be realistic. In as much as I want to encourage you to be hopeful, I also want to remind you to be realistic, because it's easier to be passionate about something and to have a perfect match and to stand out when you are realistic. Now pay attention to the basic qualifications of the job. If the job's main qualification is a bachelor's degree and you don't have it, then don't waste your time. And if you really, really want to be a part of that organization, I suggest that you apply for another job within the company and then take your bachelor's and work your way up, because there's always a process to everything. And it's really good for you to remain realistic. Now, there is a perfect job for you out there. You just need to find it. And if you find it and follow the tips I gave in this video, then I promise you that you will get hired quickly. Now, I have more resources for you at the end of this video. You will see those videos that will help you get the job that you rightfully deserve. I have all the links on the video description, blogs and videos, so check that out. When this video is done, go to the video description so you will see all that. And if you need help in resume writing, cover letter, career coaching, check out my website. That's the link, and you will also see the link on the video description. Now, if this video has helped you in any way, please leave a comment. Other than liking it, ask a question, suggest something, or share something that is related to the video. I will really appreciate that. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell so you will be notified of every video I post on Wednesdays. Remember, you were created for a purpose that only you can fulfill. Thank you so much, and I'll see you again next time.